Well, hello from the top of the world. This is Clint Baggett with Evolving Mindsets, and I'm up here in Adaro Canyon and Fountain Hills, just enjoying the wonderful weather and beautiful walk through the mountain. Welcome to November. A lot of exciting things are going on right now. Today is Tuesday, so elections are underway, and what a fun, turbulent amount of energy that is. But what's gonna happen next? I will be surprised if we know by tomorrow. Just from the little research I've done, I feel like this process is probably going to go on for a couple weeks, and it is going to be tense and nervous and distracting. You know, the good thing that comes out of something like this is that, potentially good thing is that it gets us talking, because we're concerned about what's going on and everybody's got big feelings. The downside of it is we don't know how to keep that talking from turning into fighting. And I always go back to this whole thing, like, it's, if we would have talked about this stuff more before it was critical and on the line, we wouldn't be so frantic and upset as we talk about it now. We could have took the time to, figure out solutions and all that stuff, and some did, maybe. Enough of that, I guess. Yeah, I keep thinking that, like, I can't help but get around the fact that, and this sounds brutal, but I feel like we get what we deserve. And that's a scary thought to me, right? Like, what did we do to deserve this? So do we get what we deserve, or are we getting what's been given to us? Two unseemingly options, a country divided against itself. We look at ancient cultures and we watch what we try to discover, we try to figure out from historical texts and inscriptions and stuff, what did they do that worked and what did they do that didn't work? And we have to kind of do the same thing for ourselves right now. What have we been doing that's working, and what are we doing that's not working? Why don't we have a 100-year plan for America? I understand most people don't have a 100-year plan for theirself, but if we developed a 100-year plan, that we could all agree on, would it be rudimentary? Would it be, trivial? You couldn't get too specific. Too many things would change. That's kind of the beauty of the idea of it. You'd have to ask yourself more philosophical questions. What do we want to become? What does it mean to be human? What does it mean to be American? How many generations deep do you have to be born here until you lose the hyphenation and just become American? We're all here. We're all together. It doesn't matter where we came from. It doesn't matter what we look like. Our gender doesn't matter. And who we want to have sex with also really doesn't matter. What matters is that we have the freedom to do those things, to be who we want to be, to not have someone else pick what we should be. I don't think any soul person, human, really truly wants to be told every move to make, and told who to be and what to be. I know I didn't feel like I had a lot of options as I was finding my path forward. But in hindsight, I look back and realize I had a lot more options than I thought I did. And I'm glad that I picked what were some of the better options. And so, how do we pick good options? I think this is where like the virtue of wisdom comes in. You know, we have to kind of explore. We have to find that path forward. You know, we start with the orientation and direction. Where are we? Where do we want to go? That's as simple as a 100-year plan needs to be. It needs to answer those questions. Where are we now, and where do we want to go? If everybody were to, you know, answer those questions, the overlap between those things, the common single thread that would exist, that's the 100-year plan. You know, do we all want freedom? Do we all want wealth? You know, wealthy people want wealth. Poor people want wealth. We all want wealth. That can be part of our 100-year plan, to increase and spread the feeling of wealth and well-being and prosperity for the people of the nation. There's nothing wrong with that. There's not a bad goal for that. There's no discrimination in that goal. It's just people in the nation, we want to endeavor to provide wealth and to be able to live wealthy lives. Now, does that mean that we should hand the wealth out? I mean, these are the things we got to start thinking about. You know, to create wealth for everyone takes everybody doing something, everybody contributing in some way, some form or some fashion. It doesn't have to be hard work. It can be mentorship. It can be coaching. It can be teaching. It can be painting. It can be art, singing, music, movies. There's about 1 million different ways you can contribute that doesn't require any physical labor whatsoever. And then there's about 1,000 ways you can contribute that does require physical labor. Some people like working hard and building their muscles and being active and strong. I mean, there are more ways to contribute than there are problems to solve. That's where I feel like our attention should be. You know, look, we are where we are. We're here at this election today, and I don't know what the outcome's going to be. You know, I tap into my intuition and I speak to my guides as it would. You know, what does my heart tell me? What do I feel in the energy of the universe? And I'll be honest, every time it comes to that predictable future, I choose not to know, because the future that you might see down the path ahead of you is going to be a direct reflection of what signal and what feeling and what experience you're having in that moment. If you look into the future while you're feeling incredible, you will see an incredible future. If you look into the future while you're feeling miserable, you will see a miserable future. And this is the one thing that I really, I caution, or I want to caution people over the next couple months, and as we go through whatever we go through, is look, let's be honest about what's happening. It's crazy, it's weird, it's wild. We don't know what's going to happen. We can imagine terrible things. But look, if we don't take some time to imagine some beautiful things, we're just letting them win. We're just letting it keep going. No outcome of this election is a 100% solution. No outcome of this election solves all the problems. There's no sure victory. Anyway, this goes. There will be work to be done. There will be things to do. And now look, all of us, kind of slipped there. We don't need every person to try to be the next president. We just need each person to get in a place where they can start to imagine what a better future would look like, and then share that idea and find alignment. Not force that idea on people, not beat them over the head with it, not, demand that if anything is different than the idea you have, it's invalid. But you look for the overlap in the ideas. For years of critical operations management and coaching and all the things that I've done, I always look for the overlaps in the data. That's where I find things that seem and act and behave as though they are true. They are consistent. And, every person on this planet is unique. But in many ways, we're all identical too. We're all humans. We all have, we're all functioning on what I call the human operating system. We all have an executive control center that is where we can set our vision alignment. It's where we do decision making, conflict resolution, and value reinforcement. Those are the 4 primary functions of our executive control center, our conscious mind, its ability to make decisions and choose and create and develop. Every person has it. It's a gift. It's a blessing. It's part of the crowning achievement in my mind of humanity. We all have this executive control center, but we delegate that to authorities. We delegate it to other people, and there's a good reason, because we don't all want to have to worry about everything. That's not efficient. It's not effective. We need to partner up. We need to be able to trust each other. And there are ways to establish trust. There are ways to build relationships. We used to depend on ambassadors and diplomats to build foreign relationships with other countries. Look, we're all ambassadors now. I'm an ambassador of Earth. And that doesn't matter whether it's to the extraterrestrials the government's about to tell us has been real all along, or maybe they're not. Maybe it's just an ambassador to South America, an ambassador to Russia, to China, an ambassador to anyone who can hear my voice. Now with the ability to translate, people might be watching this. You might be watching this and hearing this in your native language, though I spoke it in mine. I have a presence in the world, and it's not just me. We all do. My call to action for people is stand up and play that role. Be the incredible you that you are. Love yourself and love each other. We're all a little different. And God, we are all really weird and strange and odd and creepy sometimes. But we can be beautiful. We can be amazing. We can be incredible. We can be loving. There are so many testimonies and testaments of just outstanding acts of kindness. And what's beautiful is that's not just a human quality. That's a natural quality. You can see it in animals. Whales that save humans from sharks, and caretakers in the wild. So many animals that we have domesticated and lived with, and how we treat them and how we interact with them and what they provide us for. The big questions. To me, those questions are more important than the politics of the day. Governments will rise and governments will fall, and none of them will be good unless the quality and character of the people in the government itself elevates. And so if our leaders are not elevating the quality of language that we should be using to speak to each other, They are not leaders. Okay, they are manipulators. If their language creates separation, if their language creates division, they may be a great boss. They might be able to run a tight budget. They're not leaders. Not really. They're just good administrators. And good's a big stretch there. And you'll notice I don't call out either one of the candidates as I say these things. Because honestly, I put them in the same bucket. And they may not like that. But guess what? I'm in the same bucket too. It's called Earth. Welcome to it. We're here together. Open your eyes. Read a history book. Look around. Ask some questions. Understand you're here on a planet with 7.8 billion other people. One of the most important things we can learn in our development and growth is how to get along with people. You know, there are undoubtedly people out there who will cause you grief. Trials, God, man, I've seen so many. And look, war is a real thing. It can happen. It does happen. And it's needless and pointless and disgusting every single time. There is no beauty in war. We like to cheer and uphold the concept and the idea of the victorious. But the victor requires a loser. And it's that concept and amongst humanity, amongst family of brother and sisters, right? Humans. It's that concept that will kill us every time. We want a hero and we want a villain. And we plan on killing the villain. And that's where we get cold. We get insensitive. We don't want to take the time to understand and explore what it means to be what we are and how to embody that in a way that we don't have to abuse each other. We don't have to be offensive, and we don't have to be offended. It's okay. Look, you may not know it, and you may not feel it. And I don't care whether you're 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years old. Everything we're going through today, our ancestors went through way, way worse. Way worse. They were fighting for something. They were fighting for us. They were fighting so that we could be here right now, at this moment, being who we are. We got here, and we lost sight of how good it was. We won a couple wars and patted ourselves on the back as we buried all our dead. We gotta wake up. If we can't see that fighting isn't the way this gets done, then we will get what we deserve. We'll get the fights. I've fought wars for other people. Stationed overseas. I won't do it again. I fight for what matters. I fight for peace. I fight for humanity. Not just the ones on this continent, but all of us. Whether whether we're floating in the ISS or sitting on a beach somewhere, whether you're rich or whether you're poor, doesn't matter. I fight for all of us. I fight for us to stop fighting. So how do you do that? You can't fight to end fighting, because as you fight to end fighting, you fight. So I go the way of the peaceful warrior. I practice what I would believe is the art of being a true gentleman. Not some kind, soft, pansy-hearted pushover. No, a true gentleman. Strong, courageous, kind, loving, understanding. A warrior in the garden of life. And that's what we need to be. We need to be warriors in the garden of life. We need to protect the garden. If that means we have to fight, then we fight. But only as the absolute last resort. To anyone who ever hears this, I just want you to know I love you. I've had this dream for a long time of just asking everybody, what would you try to tell the future? If you could send a message to the future. It's kind of using it as an element in my Catalyst drama series I'm writing. All the world comes together and they just answer a few questions. They send a message to the future. If you could send a message to your grandchildren, great-grandchildren, great-great-grandchildren, the generation you know you'll never actually meet in person. If you could send a message, like a message in a bottle, right now to them, what would that be? It'd be the same message, I think, for me that I have for us today. I think in every case it would be. The message to the future is the message for now. Find a better way. You're smart, you're brilliant, you're capable. People will push you. People will shove you around. Everything will not always be easy. You will always be able to persevere. You can be careful. You don't have to risk everything all the time. But find something that you are, that's worth risking it all for. Know in your heart what it is that you're willing to risk everything for. And just knowing that doesn't mean that you actually have to risk it. You can love it, you can protect it, you can keep it. But how do you imagine the world if you could draw it out in a map? What would it look like? Would it look just like it is today? Would it look radically different? If every person in the world did that, we'd have 7.8 billion different ideas of how it could be. And I bet in the overlaps in between that, we'd find something really beautiful. We may find that we all have common ground. We may find that there is a way, with little communication, some thought, some love, some kindness, some wisdom, some strength, some virtue, that we could overcome it. If we don't believe in that, then you're just giving up, right? That's that simple. If you don't believe that things can get better, then you've given up. And that's, I think, to me, the most important part of this message today that I want to share. I'm hoping and praying everything turns out in a way that's better for all of us. But no matter how it turns out, can do better. Even if the best possible outcome occurs, we can be better. We can do more. We need to start figuring out what removes the separation between, what removes the divide, what conquers the divide, what brings us into concepts that are compatible with a state of indivision amongst people. We're going to solve it today. I doubt it. But if we don't push in that direction, if we don't march forward toward that goal, we definitely won't solve it at all. So I hope you found some encouragement as I walk and pant and huff on this crazy Arizona trail. It's just beautiful out here. Wherever you are, I want you to know I love you. And I'm going to keep believing in us no matter what. Do the same. Believe in us no matter what. What are you willing to believe in?